everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Antiques. I see we got Philip and David with us today, and I guess we're going to talk about old toys on this program. So what's going on there, David?
Well, Howard, I ended a 20-year run on the radio show on Let's Talk Antiques. And originally, when I started, Howard, 20 years ago, and I don't think that you was around in Manchester.
No, I was not.
But anyway, so 20 years ago, that's how I started the show with toys, because that's what I collected a lot of. Of course, I did have signs and other stuff. But at the time, believe it or not, I do kind of home in on stuff. And at the time, I was really serious about collecting old toys, and still am. Old toys, the value of them just keeps going up. They don't drop. I don't think they're they're the thing that when you look at a new TV, old toys or old signs or something, they're going to have something.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that the younger generation, their house might be plain or their apartments or something, but they'll have an old sign or an old toy or something that they picked up somewhere. It just happens. Young as you are, Philip, I know you got a Pink Floyd album behind you.
There you go. You got to sneak in a little Pink Floyd for the last episode.
Yeah. Different people have different toys.
There you go.
Yeah. And another thing, I'm trying to check off this checkoff list that Nancy gave me a checkoff list to do, and but I could have done this without her giving me this list. But I want to thank LightTube and Channel 193 for airing our show. Would you say this is our 6th season, Philip?
Yeah.
And this is our last show on the 2 TV stations. But who knows what'll happen, right? We're definitely gonna do something with YouTube and Facebook. Yeah. And I don't know what do you think? I was thinking even maybe Facebook Live. Is that an option, Philip? Or
sure, yeah, we can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Facebook Live. Because I noticed that like a lot of people, there's one particular guy here in town, well, 2 people that I know of, they actually do that Facebook Live, and like if you are one of their watchers, they know when you come on. So I'm sure, Philip, you know how that works. I don't, and Howard, you probably do.
Yeah.
Being a radio station guy.
But you're not
I know.
gonna give up collecting, David, you're saying?
Do what?
You're not going to give up collecting?
Oh, by no means. Be honest with you, I'm busier now than I've ever been on the collecting. I swap and trade all the time, and actually, I'd like to do some shows with some other collectors and stuff, and actually show people. Well, like when the American Pickers was here, it would have been. And you've seen the American Picker show, but I do that kind of stuff like we did with American Pickers. I do that all the time. I have people who comes from all over America that swaps and trades with me, or tries to sell me something. I will buy. I got 5,000 square feet to prove that I'll buy.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah, but it's getting full.
Yes, it is. Like I told the American Picker guys when they were here filming, I said, look, I got 20,000 square foot of stuff in a 5,000 square foot building. And we was just having a conversation like right now. And Mike said, can you say that again? I said, I can say that 100 times because that's a fact.
Yep.
Even on the outside of my building, I just added another sign today. A great big Camel cigarette pack, a full-size metal pack. You probably seen them at the tobacco stores 30 years ago. They had like it's about 3 foot tall.
Okay, yeah, sure.
They make and this one outside I just put out the Camel. So, like outside on our buildings, all 3 buildings, when people ride by, they see all this stuff, but they don't realize there's over 130 pieces of advertisement on our buildings outside. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
It is.
So when are you going to build a new building?
Well, Howard, I'm thinking about doing that, but golly, if I build a new building, you know what I'll be devoting my other whatever time I got left in my life, you know, I'm 70. I just turned 70. I'd be real busy trying to fill up the rest of that building. I don't know if I could.
Yeah, 70's a youngster.
You know, of course, I've been collecting all my life. Even when I was a little kid, I collected. Remember when President Kennedy got assassinated? Somebody said, well, why are you saving that newspaper? I just said, you know, I told them as a kid, I just told them, I said, you know, that's a piece of history. Somebody needs to save it. So here I am, 12 years old, or 13 at the time, saving history then, you know, just a little old young boy. So I guess it never left me, and it's worse now. I thought at one time, you know, that I probably needed some doctor to give me a little bit of therapy on collecting, you know, why are you collecting so much, you know, that kind of stuff. But I figure, heck with that, I'll just keep collecting. I might even collect the same kind of stuff that doctor collects. I might collect doctor stuff, you know. I don't need no therapy. I need more stuff.
That's right.
So one more thing on my checkoff list. Nancy told me to get up, and she wanted me to show y'all, since we set up, every week for the last 3 weeks, this is our 3rd week doing it here, we've always shot something different. So I got to get up and walk out of the screen, but you can still hear me. And she wanted you to see all the neat stuff behind me.
I was going to ask about that Pepsi thing hanging down. Does it say Pepsi stuff? I can't exactly read it.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay.
Well, and one time, I guess Pepsi was giving away, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a form of advertising the stuff. You know, you hung it at your business. I've only seen one more like that one. Of course, there was a lot of them out there, I'm sure. And I think that was probably in the late 80s, early 90s that they had the Pepsi stuff. You could probably Google that and find out when it was. But I just saved that. I thought it was neat. Like I said, I seen one. There's a friend of mine. He's got one, but his is a whole lot rougher. You know, I guess his worked harder for a living than mine did. You know, that's my saying. You know, that signs were made to work for a living. They wasn't made to put up and store for 100 years. But you know, in this building, it's hard to believe. Like, you know, 81 seems like to me and Howard, that seems like not that long ago.
You mean 1981?
But it's 39 years ago, right? Yeah, 19. Yeah, but it's 39 years ago. But I have stuff in here on the advertisement that's over 100 years old. Think about that. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Well, really, I've got stuff a lot older than 100 years old. You know, maybe 130 years old in the advertisement. And I've got it all the way up to current. So even current will be old one day, right?
True.
I thought I'd never get past 16, but I did. I just keep getting older.
That's what you think.
So,
anything?
How much time we got, Philip, before we need to take a break?
We got about 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So growing up, you know, I told you that the first show that we ever did on the radio 20 years ago was about old toys, and you know, there was a gentleman in here Saturday, and he collects signs, but he's a big Jack Daniel collector. He come to look at my Jack Daniel. You know, I have the original Jack Daniel Barrel House sign, and he was so excited. This guy, you know how a lot of collectors, like Coke collectors, they'll have Coke shirts, Coke card tags, and so forth, Coca-Cola. Well, this guy had Jack Daniel everything. I was surprised his car wasn't painted up like a Jack Daniel, you know, black and white, but it wasn't. But he did have the Jack Daniel tag on it, and he had the Jack Daniel shirt and all that, the Jack Daniel, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. I figured you'd want to hang on to that sign, David. That's a one of a kind, isn't it?
Well, you know, what I figure, I don't know. I might still hang on to it, but I might swap it off too, Philip.
Oh, okay.
You know. So, Howard?
Yes, sir.
When you was a young man, when it comes to toys, did you get a lot of toys for Christmas?
Well, not a whole lot. A few, but you got to remember, times were different back then.
Yeah.
Not like today when kids get $400 or $500 worth of stuff at Christmas. You might have got a pair of jeans, a new pair of shoes, and one special gift,
Yeah.
But but a lot of the ones that I can remember getting were a little more inexpensive, and they just didn't last. I was kind of in that transition when they were going from the heavy cast iron metal toys, that last forever. Now, I do have a couple of those that belong to my dad and my uncle, but most of my toys didn't last long.
Well, Howard, that's kind of like it was when I was growing up. We got some clothes for Christmas time because you still had to make it another half, for the rest of the school year. One pair of shoes wouldn't hardly last you. So you'd either get a pair of shoes and maybe some blue jeans or something. But like you said, we were really, there was 4 of us, and our family didn't have a lot of money. So we was lucky if we got a couple of toys apiece, small toys. Something that probably cost back then $1.59, But I tell you something that I remember at Christmas time. We always had a nice Christmas dinner. My mother always fixed it, and always had a nice Thanksgiving dinner. Mm-hmm. And then in between those times, times were hard. You didn't get a whole lot of turkey and dressing. I'll just say it like that, But one thing we did get at Christmas time that I remember people used to have fruit and nuts and that kind of stuff, Howard.
Yep. Yeah.
And what was that nut that was so hard? Looked kind of like a quarter part of an orange or something.
Was that a Brazil nut?
Yeah, I guess it was. I remember we'd get those and some peanuts and
some walnuts.
Yeah. And some,
and maybe an orange or an apple. I mean, that was in the stocking. That was a big thing. But
yeah.
All right. Well, Howard, you better take us out of here before.
Is it time for a break? All right, folks. We'll be right back with more Let's Talk Antiques in just a couple, 3 minutes. So don't go anywhere.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
Tune in to Let's Talk Antiques for the only locally produced antique show in the area. Every week, David, Ronnie, Philip, and Howard bring you new topics about how to maximize your investments in collectibles. Whether that's Star Wars toys or cowboy movie posters, they cover it all. Show founder David Pennington has been featured on the History Channel's American Pickers and is well known for his knowledge of Coca-Cola memorabilia, vintage gas pumps, and all things cowboy related. That's Let's Talk Antiques, live Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on WMSR Radio, or watch our video replays on P-Head's Charter Channel 193, LightTube's Channel 6, or on our Facebook and YouTube channels. There's always a new find on Let's Talk Antiques.
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking.
All right, folks, we're back with more Let's Talk Antiques here on today's program. We're still talking, we're kind of leading into old toys. We're getting into the subject. So take us off, Dave. What did Philip have there? Philip had a real interesting toy.
Yeah, you remember, Howard, you had arcade stuff, I think, at one
time.
That looks like an arcade piece to me. What do you say, Howard?
I'll defer to your judgment.
That's what it looks like.
You're the expert. I'm not.
I don't know. I think that you know a little something about cast iron. But arcade also made those banks. You remember those banks?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They tried to promote in the early 1900s to save those pennies. And, you know, they had all kind of different ones. One with a rifle where it was shooting something, and then it'd hold the penny, and when it shot, it would go into the bank, it would drop into the bank. Oh,
those were real big at one time. That was a big toy, things like that.
Yeah, and it was, you know, right now if you try to buy those banks and stuff, they're expensive. And like that piece right there, Philip, if that's an arcade piece and that's what it looks like, that's an expensive piece. And you can actually find those wheels. You can get on eBay and find the wheels for that.
How do you spell arcade? Just ARCADE, like you'd
arcade toys.
Okay.
Try arcade cast iron toys, Philip.
Yeah.
You should be able to find something.
There's definitely some popping up through here.
Yeah. You see something like your truck?
Yeah, some pretty close. $775. It's in a little better shape, but that's wow.
Well, hey, that's pretty good door prop, ain't it?
That's like I say, that's been the door prop at the my grandparents' house my entire life. And
you better treat it a little better now.
Well, I can't let the door close, you know, every time the air conditioner cuts on.
Get a brick.
Hey, come up sometime, Philip, and I'll give you a Tullahoma brick to hold it.
Oh, okay.
You know, actually made bricks at one time. You remember where Small World was?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay, so, you know, they tore it down, and when they tore it down, a friend of mine got the job to do that. He called me up and said, you want a bunch of Tullahoma brick? Because that whole front was nothing but Tullahoma brick. So I got about 100 of them, and I've gave them to a lot of people that, of course, that lives in Tullahoma.
Does it say Tullahoma on it even?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It's molded in the brick.
I've never seen those. So were they made in Tullahoma or made for Tullahoma?
No, they were made in Tullahoma. That was actually, but you know, I don't think a lot of people think about this, but they set up and made brick like when they were building, you know, like if you had a little small town that was building pretty good, they actually made the brick there in that town. They couldn't, you know, you take 100 years ago, can you imagine the transportation on of course the train could do it, but that'd be a lot of wagon loads of brick, I'll tell you, you know. So they made it closer.
It was hard to transport heavy stuff. It was hard to transport heavy stuff like bricks very far, you know.
Yeah. So that's why they actually had their own brick manufacturing right there in most of your local towns. Most people don't know that, but think about it. I mean, and those brick they're as good as the day they were put in the wall the first time. I don't know. Brick just don't seem like it deteriorates at all. I mean, obviously you can break a brick.
Yeah. Well, those are probably the solid ones, not the ones with the holes in them like they do now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's solid. And on one side, Philip, it's pretty good size. Had I thought about it, I would have one here where I could show it to you. But I got you a brick, okay?
Okay.
And you think we ought to give Jim one?
Yeah, well, Jim might appreciate one. We put one on the set for the living show. That's.
Yeah, there you go. He could set it right there on his set.
Yeah.
So, Philip, Howard and I told you our story about Christmas time and our stocking. So let's hear your Christmas story about toys.
I had a stocking too, and my mom's just well, I won't say she's older than you, David, but she's younger than you, Howard. Let's put it that way. And,
okay, good.
But so she did stockings, and we got oranges and those nuts that that you couldn't squeeze with your hand to break them, and and we got I guess I was the beginning of a lot of plastic toys things. We would get our G.I. Joe action figures and Star Wars toys and things like that. I got all those things new and tore them open and played with them, so. Yeah.
You tore up a fortune. You know it?
Yeah, I know. And we still had her play with when we'd come to Tullahoma to visit, because those still work just fine. I think me and my brother and cousins tore them up though, but they lasted.
They were tough.
They lasted 30, 40 years probably.
Yeah. You know, Tonka really got started after World War II, but about 1947. If you Google it, I might be a year or two off, but right after the war is when Tonka, and they seen Buddy L and Keystone, how they built those heavy toys. You know, Buddy L started out making. They originally were making car parts. The daddy was.
Really?
And Buddy L is the daddy's son. So what he did, he had his own manufacturing stamping plant, and he started making trucks and stuff for his son, big trucks, like 2 foot, 30-inch stuff, you know. And so other kids around the block seen him playing with those toys. Now we're talking like in the 20s, okay?
Yeah.
And they wanted one. So he started making a few others. And before you know it, he created this company called Buddy L Toy Company, and he quit making car parts, and he went full time into Buddy L Toys, and he done, you know, some of the toys that cost, say $3.95, which was a lot of money in the 20s, you know, brings thousands, and we're going to look up some of that stuff, and that's how a lot of those toy companies got started. They actually were making parts for the auto industry. And, you know, common sense says if you got the tools, I mean, if you got the dies and the stamps and why not stamp out other stuff? And they did. And they found out, Buddy L especially, that he could make a whole lot more money making toys for kids than he could parts for cars.
There you go. I pulled up some Buddy L wrecker trucks while you were talking, David.
Well, they should be from $1,600 to $3,000 for a real, the old Buddy L records from the 20s.
I've got I don't have a year on this one. This is a Buddy L press steel auto truck number 2209 tow truck in incredible condition. There were 34 bids on it. Was $1,725 plus $90 shipping. Yeah,
that's your older record there. Look how big it is.
It looks pretty big. It's on like a metal table. I'd say it's probably like this big.
It's about 24 to 30 inches long.
Yeah, I'd say 24 to 30. Yeah.
Yeah. Howard, are you looking up anything?
No, I'm just listening.
Well, now hey, it's okay if you want to look up something, Howard.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're good at it.
No. Well, Philip is usually the guy with the computer there that does it.
Okay. I
know last week we tried to do that. It kind of got confusing. So I thought, well, this week we'll just let Philip be our information man. But you know, those Buddy L toys, they were practically indestructible and not too expensive by today's standard. And like you should just said, $1,800 there for that. Well, you might as well say $1,800 for that.
Oh, yeah.
That's unbelievable for a toy.
You know what one of their advertisements was? When they first started making these toys, they showed a grown man standing on one. That's a pretty good advertisement, ain't it?
Yeah.
When a grown man stands on a toy and they won't tear it up.
There's another wrecker is a Buddy L ride-on large tow truck wrecker, and it's a tow truck with a little seat raised up out of the bed of it, and a handle coming off the front of it, I guess, to steer by. And that went for $1,500.
Yeah. Hey, didn't they make like a steam shovel or an excavator, I guess is what they call them today, that it would actually dig dirt and you could put it in their big dump truck?
Sure they did. Uh-huh.
You could get in a sandbox, you know, and you could actually dig and load your dump truck up and then, you know, move your sand or where it was you were loading up to. But, you know, the kids would get in the big sandbox and just play for hours building the city or something like that.
Yeah, Howard, they had string, you remember, on it instead of steel cables. Had strings where when you cranked the handle, it actually worked just like a real steam shovel.
Yeah, you'd pull the string and the bucket opened up and the dirt fell out or something. Yep. You know, I can vaguely remember seeing those back in the day.
I've got one that's a couple of them here. It's like $180 was plus $30 shipping, so like $210.
Little steam shovels.
Yeah. And it's got like little tiny wheels on it, and it looks like it might ride on be supposed to go on tracks maybe or something. Maybe it's kind of a.
I think it used to have. Didn't it have rubber tracks?
Well, you know, they made them different.
Around the wheel?
With the wheels, and they made them with the tracks. You know, they made them different ways, just like the real ones. Hey, Philip, I'll tell you something, too. When you do that Buddy L, if you just do the Buddy L toys, you should, those buses are really expensive. They're in the $3,000 to $5,000 range.
Yeah. There was a 1929 bus with nickel highlights and doors that opened 30 inches long, 100% original. They were asking $3,300 and took a best offer with $1 shipping on it. It must be outrageously heavy, too.
Yeah, they are. They are. That's why a grown man.
Long cast iron bus. It's going to be heavy.
Yeah.
All right, Howard, we probably need to wind us over for our.
Are we run out of time again?
Yeah.
See, time flies when you're having fun.
There you go.
All right. We'll be right back with more Let's Talk Antiques after, some more words from our sponsors.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
Tune in to Let's Talk Antiques for the only locally produced antique show in the area. Every week, David, Ronnie, Philip, and Howard bring you new topics about how to maximize your investments in collectibles. Whether that's Star Wars toys or cowboy movie posters, they cover it all. Show founder David Pennington has been featured on the History Channel's American Pickers and is well known for his knowledge of Coca-Cola memorabilia, vintage gas pumps, and all things cowboy related. That's Let's Talk Antiques, live Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on WMSR Radio, or watch our video replays on P-Head's Charter Channel 193, LightTube's Channel 6, or on our Facebook and YouTube channels. There's always a new find on Let's Talk Antiques.
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking.
All right, we're back here with more Let's Talk Antiques. On today's program, we've been talking about toys, old toys, especially the big Buddy L, the great big ones back in the day, kind of reminiscing about those. So, did you want to continue on, David? What else did you want to talk about?
Well, I think we ought to talk about those other toy companies besides Buddy L, like there was Tonka. You know, it started right after World War II, and Mark, of course, Mark started it way before World War II. Matter of fact, I think some of the Mark's factories actually done war materials. You know, during World War.
Really, I didn't know that.
Well, you know, so we can go to our next one. Matter of fact, you want to go to the arcade that you got some arcade stuff?
I've got some arcade I'll go ahead and do that. Let me hit that real quick. All right, RCAD.
Well, Howard, what are you doing? You got a toy?
Well, I'm trying to look to see if I can see who made this cast iron taxi cab I got.
There was usually a couple different companies made those cast iron.
Yeah.
That's the coolest
See that? I got it in the camera.
Hold it up just a little bit, Howard. Just a little bit more.
There we go.
Now, right about in there, you can see it gray. That's a cool looking toy.
Yeah. Now, of course, kind of got ruined because that's not the original paint.
Well,
So,
you know, Howard, kids did that a lot.
yeah, I did that. But this, I got two of these, and they are banks because there's a slot right here, if you can see it, where you can put coins in. They used to have a thing here on the bottom so the coin didn't fall.
Right.
And one was my dad's, one was my uncle's when they were boys, so that would put them probably in the 20s, I
That's
guess.
really
And of course, long about 1950, in the 50s, I painted them, which, not knowing anything about it, probably if I'd have left them alone and they were original paint, it would be worth more. But
yeah, they're still worth quite a bit like they are. Hey,
yeah.
Remember, was the paint still good on them?
No, they were all kind of well banged up from playing, and they were used, and I played with them pretty hard. They stayed at my grandparents' house, my dad's mother and dad, and every time we went there, I would get them out and play with them. And of course, my dad and his brother, my uncle, played with them when they were young. So they were not in perfect condition. They were used toys,
They did their job, didn't they?
They did their job.
The nice thing about the cast iron trucks is when you got in a fight with your brother, you could hit him with it and it wouldn't hurt the truck.
It sure put a dent in your brother, though.
We put a dent in the brother's head, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's a heavy little thing. I mean, it's probably a pound. But
it's a good-looking car. It looks like a taxi cab.
That's what they called them. They called them taxi cabs. I imagine, because that's what my dad always referred to them, as a taxi cab. They must have looked like a checker cab or something like that, when they were newer, and that term stuck with them all these years.
Yeah. You reckon they was originally yellow and black, Howard?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember the colors.
Well, there was some of them orange and black. There was black and yellow and black, of course.
I can't really tell from inside.
But I did a good job painting it, Howard.
Although I did find, I never knew that was in there. I can't read it. Well, come on, there we go. Arcade.
Yeah.
Someplace in Illinois.
Yep.
I can't make it out. It's in the casting, right up in here.
Absolutely.
But that is an arcade toy.
Yeah, that's a good toy, Howard.
Well, I got two of them.
So, Philip?
One to keep and one to sell.
Well, I think what he's going to do is one to keep and one to give me for Christmas.
Oh, there you go.
More than likely, that's probably what he'll do, Philip.
Under my arcade search, I've got a rare clamshell arcade cast iron red and green truck road roller. It looks like a crane, basically, kind of thing. And it's got some chains on it and a scoop hanging off the end of the chain. One bid on it, and it went for $4,995.
Oh my goodness!
So, Cade seems to be a pretty valuable brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Those cast iron toys. The only thing wrong with cast iron toys, now, like that one said arcade on it. They made a lot of reproductions in the 80s and 90s, but you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
Like his toy there when they put them together with screws, they were flat screws, no Phillips screws. And a lot of this new stuff, that's one of the things. Even if somebody's crooked enough to change the screws out, you can still tell. But like that one's actually marked that said arcade on it.
Yeah.
So you got some more high dollar arcade stuff?
Yeah, I've got an arcade Fordson cast iron toy tractor with an attached plow. It's a tractor with a plow and a guy riding on it, and they wanted $2,000, and they took a best offer. And then here's a rare yellow 1931 coupe. This one was they wanted $1,800 and took a best offer, but it was pretty close to that. Here's an arcade 13.5-inch number 251 white delivery van with no cracks or breaks. Original paint job, 8 bids, $1,705.
Do you see an arcade taxi there? You should see some of them.
I know. I see a panel van that looks kind of like that taxi.
But there should be an arcade taxi on those. You would think one or two of them would have sold.
Well, here's a sedan, blue and black sedan with driver. Yours doesn't have a driver, does it, Howard?
No, huh?
Okay.
Now, it might have had one, though, because there is inside, there's a little ledge here with a hole in it. Like maybe a figure would have set in here and, would have had a pin in the bottom that would have held him in place, and he would have sat right about here. But there's no drivers. The drivers got lost over the years, I guess.
That looks more like the sedan than it does the one when I searched for taxi.
Yeah.
Two of them, they went for $1,200 each.
Wow.
And they're painted green and black like that too.
Really?
Philip, I wish you had hired that because I know he was going to give me one of those for Christmas.
Well, that's why he can give you one and he can still get $1,200 for the other one. So
I'm thinking he might get a lump of coal. Now you mentioned a tractor. Look what I got.
That is
cool.
Wow.
It's a nice old
tractor. Again, I guess I liked green paint when I was a kid. Now, it was apparently orange at one time because inside the wheels you can see a little bit of orange. But it's that is a Fordson tractor. Now, I can't see any marks on it as to who might have made it.
It's probably an arcade piece, too.
But it's an old heavy, and again, this was my dad's toy, or his brother, one or the other. I don't know, but it was either my uncle
really
or
nice, Howard. That's nice. Now, what tractor was orange? There was a company that had orange tractors, didn't it?
Is that Alice Chalmers?
Was it Alice Chandler? Okay.
I'm thinking that I don't hold me to that, but I think they might have been orange.
The most expensive of that style.
All blue.
I'm sorry.
Was the Ford tractors all blue?
Well, they were later, but I don't know what they were originally. At one time, Henry Ford painted everything black. So I don't know.
Yeah, that was his famous saying. Wasn't it? Order it any color you want, as long as it's black.
Yeah.
As long as it was black.
Yeah.
So Howard, did that have where you could put rubber tread on the tire, or was that where they're spoked on it? Can you hold it?
No, these are just big old flat, smooth tires. Now they may have had something on them at one time, but okay. I don't know. But they're a smooth rim,
Okay, there's one exactly like that. That one's only $72 with 19 bids. So sorry about that one.
Well, that's $72 more that I got in my wallet.
But you can add that 72 to that $2,400 worth there too, though. You got two cars, $1,200 a piece. So
yeah,
that's one good thing about our show. We spent over 20 years between it and the television show trying to teach people. Just like Philip there found that door prop that was $700.
Yeah.
A $700 door prop, and there's a lot of that stuff. The people that watches our show, they got this kind of stuff if they'll just look.
Well, the scary thing is, sometime you come along. Well, let's just use me as an example. I kick the bucket. My kids come into the house and they look at this and they say, "Well, there's an old toy tractor worth a couple dollars." Or they take it to Goodwill just to get rid of it, and not realizing what they really have in the sense of money wise, because to them it's just excess. It doesn't fit in. It's not in style. We don't use this stuff anymore, And a lot of this stuff that you have had on the program is worth a lot of money, but maybe people don't realize it.
Well, hopefully we've educated a few people, surely, right?
Hopefully.
I've learned to check a little bit of stuff before I toss it away. So
yeah. It's always good to look at eBay if nothing else.
Yeah.
All right, well, Howard, let's go ahead and take our last break, and we should be right on time at this point.
Boy, I'll tell you, you're good with the clock. All right, we'll be right back with more Let's Talk Antiques.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking!
Tune in to Let's Talk Antiques for the only locally produced antique show in the area. Every week, David, Ronnie, Philip, and Howard bring you new topics about how to maximize your investments in collectibles. Whether that's Star Wars toys or cowboy movie posters, they cover it all. Show founder David Pennington has been featured on the History Channel's American Pickers and is well known for his knowledge of Coca-Cola memorabilia, vintage gas pumps, and all things cowboy related. That's Let's Talk Antiques, live Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on WMSR Radio, or watch our video replays on P-Head's Charter Channel 193, LightTube's Channel 6, or on our Facebook and YouTube channels. There's always a new find on Let's Talk Antiques.
Well, welcome back to Let's Talk Antiques as we continue our program today, talking about toys, especially old toys. We've been talking about cast iron toys. We've been talking about the big Buddy L toys and Tonkas. And what are we going to go now? You suggested what, David? Another brand?
Well, I told us to look up some of those Wyandotte toys. That's just another company. Also, you remember Wyandotte made the Hopalong Cassidy cap guns, Howard?
Oh, yeah.
Wyandotte made a lot of cap guns, but they actually made the Hopalong Cassidy ones too.
Yeah, those were cool because when you got it, you got the holster and everything. You just strap it and go out and do fast draws with it.
Yeah, and caps. Remember they shot. I still remember to this day the smell of those caps, Howard.
Yeah. Well, I think they had gunpowder in them, didn't they?
I think they did.
Sure, just a couple grains.
So what have you found some Wyandotte toys?
I got a 1936 Wyandotte circus truck and trailer. It's missing the cardboard animals though, and it was $900. On the whole. It's in really nice shape, and it's still painted. The trailers and stuff are painted like circus stuff, nice.
Yeah, and it's like the old circus trailers.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Another one's a 1938 Wyandotte pressed steel LaSalle sedan and with matching camper toy.
Yeah, that should be in the $600 to $800 range.
They wanted $850 and took a best offer.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah. A LaSalle, no less. How about that? That's a brand. That's a car brand you don't hear about anymore.
They were cool, wasn't they, Howard?
Yeah. Yes.
Here's a 1930s Wyandotte Cord Sportsman, Fire Chief original. Pullback wind up. They were wanting $790 and took a best offer, but it was pretty close to that. And so there's your Cord car there, Howard.
Yeah. Hey, if you're ever in Auburn, Indiana, you need to check out the Auburn Cord Factory Museum.
Yeah.
It's actually in the old factory building, and it's a great museum of old cars.
Here's another one of those 1930s Wyandotte LaSalle. It has replacement tires, and it knocked it down to $750 because it didn't have the original tires with it. So that was $100 off for the tires. Here's another Wyandotte pressed steel camper. It's a different kind of car it's a sedan though with a camper attachment on it. and it's pretty rough. It's been played with by Howard, and it was they were $585 and took a best offer on that one.
Well, those toys they were made to play with,
Yeah.
So if it was played with by Howard, is it green and black?
They ruined it.
It's powder blue, but it looks like it's been run over by an actual car a couple of times. Let's see. Here's a Wyandotte Moto Fix Toolkit tow car. So this is it says it's a Moto Fix brand tow car, and they got $325 for that one.
Now we're talking about toys. Toys that didn't cost a couple bucks new.
Here's an Easter duck. Easter duck with a cart for candy to pull behind it. That's Wyandotte Toys. $330 for that. And it's in pretty good shape. Whoever had that one said it well. Here's one for you, David. Is a vintage Wyandotte pressed steel Coca-Cola truck.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a brand name on it though, so they're not sure what brand it is. 17-inch, 45 bids on it for $306.66.
A lot of activity on it, wasn't it?
Yeah, for them not to know what brand it was, I'd say a couple of people figured they knew.
Somebody knew what brand it was.
Yeah. And let's jump over to Mark's before we run out of time on here.
Hey, before we end, give me about a minute or so I can thank everybody for.
Oh yeah. Let me see. With Mark's comes up with all kinds of stuff though.
No kidding.
It's the number. Oh shoot! No, hang on. I don't get y'all. Phil, for a second, I lost my sold listing, and
Well, Howard.
Yeah.
Mark's Toy had all those wind-up toys, remember the Fresh Air Taxi and the Amos and Andy Fresh Air Taxi. And they had those streamlined wind-up cars that would hit the wall and back up.
And of course, the bulldozers and tanks and.
They had a lot of movie stuff, movies.
Yeah. Well, they kind of whatever was in style as far like a movie or something. They would come up with a toy that.
Like Charlie McCarthy. You remember?
Yeah.
Charlie McCarthy and Mortimer Snerd.
Yeah.
Mark made all kind of wind up stuff for them, and they're high dollar. Charlie McCarthy, and that's what Mark's was good about doing the movie stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I've got one here. I've got a Mark's Superheroes and Villains 1968 mechanical locomotive. There's 35 wind-up and friction toys in this. All mint in-box, new, old store stock. So this has got like heroes on it, like the Hulk and people like that.
Yeah, they do that.
48 bids on that one went for $5,778.
Ooh. Now I have a Mark's wind-up train set. It's the it's like a diesel engine, not a steam engine. I got a steam engine, but I don't know who made it. Then I have a real nice electric train set made by Mark's.
Yeah, Mark's, they made a lot of nice trains, didn't they?
It was it's the same size and gauge as a Lionel train, and I got it for Christmas. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many years ago. I think it cost around $20, for the train set, the track, the transformer, the cars and everything. And I've even got the original box that it came in.
That's really nice.
And it runs nice. And every once in a while, it's been a couple of years, but we used to always put it up under the Christmas tree. It's a nice.
Did it run under the Christmas tree?
Pardon?
Did you let it run under the Christmas
tree? Oh, yeah, we'd have it running. You had to be careful the tinsel didn't fall on the track, back when you used tinsel, because if we went across all three rails, it started sparking, But,
I had a fire.
yeah, good.
Yes, Philip?
I've got a rare Hong Kong Marks miniature playset called Over the Top with the Box. World War I German battle reenactment. 30 bids on it, $4,638.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy.
Here's a
Place.
Marks trucking terminal with all the pieces. So it's like a big box full of stuff. And they wanted $3,425 plus $95 shipping. And they took a best offer on that. That's pretty crazy.
Isn't that something?
Here's another. They've got a couple of those battlefield sets. Apparently, there's somebody realized how valuable those were, and a couple of people sold those. Here's a wagon train featuring Major Seth Adams and Flint McCullough set, and the buy it now on that was $2,000 for that one.
Yeah.
Johnny Marks West of Johnny West. It's a Marks Johnny West set. So this is the figure with a bunch of accessories to go with him. They wanted $2,000 and took a best offer that was over $1,500. Man, Johnny West.
About that. Now we're talking about play sets.
Yeah.
Something to entertain kids.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they didn't cost that back in the day.
Oh no, like $1.95.
Because Marks was not a real high-priced toy company. You know,
No, that was,
I guess.
To give you a well-built toy at a fair price.
Yeah, they weren't the cheapies. You know, they came from Japan.
Yeah.
At that time, and you remember the Japanese tin toys that when you looked inside there was a beer can label.
Yeah.
Remember that after the war? But
hey, Al, I've got a train set, just the cab.
yeah,
It's a Japanese train set, and then on the inside of it, it's got the Coca-Cola where they made the lid, the caps for the top, and evidently the sheet was bad, so they sent it over there and they made trains out of it, and you can still see the Coca-Cola lids on the inside of it though.
yeah. I think they recycled metal or something. I don't know, to make
Sure.
toys after the war. You know.
They didn't waste no paint on the inside, I'll tell you.
No, because I can remember buying cheap toys at the 5 and dime, and you'd look inside and there'd be printing from some beer can or a Coke can or something like that on the inside of them.
Right.
I don't think I ever saw any of those.
Well, next time you're over, I'll show you one.
Okay, so they weren't still doing that by the 70s, I guess.
No, things got better in Japan. This was immediately after the war. You know, they needed some kind of a industry or income, and they were pretty resourceful people.
All right, we're down to 1 minute on us here, so.
Okay, so Howard, you might want to say something too, but I want to take this opportunity to thank Tullahoma and Light Tube for airing our show for all these years, and I especially want to thank Jim and Channel 193 for being a good partner and letting us come and entertain everybody in Tullahoma, Tennessee, Manchester, Tennessee, and Fayetteville and Chevyville and all kinds of neat places, right?
Yep.
I want to thank everybody for letting us come into their household.
Yeah, I think we need to thank WMSR because the program was on the radio for about 20 years too.
Oh yeah. I was on the TV side. And, we did the radio side too for 20 years. Yeah, I went through. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 or 4 different owners, Howard.
Yeah, I know. You ran them off.
Is that it, or I just outlasted them? I'm the last runner of the bunch.
All right. Well, we better wind it down then.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. We'll see you next time.